Welcome back once again. Thicc Boi Hours podcast, episode 26, I believe. And you're here with the Thick Boys. We got Q, aka Short Round, outside in nature, touching grass, looking at the sky. You got Dodgy Yeti down there, and you got myself, uh, Chris Jones, community manager, lordsofgaming.net, aka C Unit. And we're back once again. How's your past couple weeks been, Q?
Not too shabby. Just been working and doing my thing this way.
What about you, Skagsy?
Uh, Pretty much the same. Being sent through the ringer at work for
Huh.
a promotion, but yeah, we'll see if that comes to fruition. Should know within about three weeks whether or not that's gonna go through.
Isn't
So
that the promotion that's supposed to get you to where you get to stay at like the building or something like that?
Yes, but it's actually kind of changed a little bit. Like some things have changed. Is that it'll be second shift now. So it kind of screws me on being able to go do some things, but I think I might be able to eke
Like playing
out
Magic?
every. I think I might be able to eke out whenever you're playing, though. I think I might be
Yeah,
able to bounce out a little early because it'll
sounds
only be
good.
like 2 to 10.
Hopefully you get it.
What time do you guys start playing?
It depends on what day and where at. But on Fridays when I go with like Blake and Dominique, it starts around 7:15.
Okay. Okay, because I don't think you guys play anywhere too far from my work, actually.
Both places I play at are in Greenwood.
Yeah, you're
There
15
there
minutes
there
away.
there's a place in Franklin I'm gonna go check out at some point because
A&A Games?
it, yeah, they play multiple trading card games. That's kind of I want
A&A
to do this thing where I check out different card shops, and I've never been there. So
A&A Games is a uh solid card shop. It's good. Uh
okay,
at least in like a consumer way. I've never been a player there. So in a consumer fashion, it's a really good card shop. Um,
okay.
but how have you been, my boy?
As for myself, I've been sick the past few weeks. We're getting better. Uh, I've only played Magic like twice. The last time I played, we talked about it. I got first place. Played last night. Got second to last place. So yeah, win
Sickness will do
some,
that to you.
you win some, you lose some, and I definitely misplayed a few times. Forgot that Goblin Bombardment was in Boros Energy, and I don't even know why I forgot because we were literally talking about Goblin Bombardment the whole previous game, and I sideboarded out Pithing Needle, which I probably would have
Just
won that if I didn't. Just minor mistakes. Plus, my Affinity deck needs to be updated slightly. However, on the Magic front, I got some interesting news. So Riley sent me a video of a Battle of Wits player from Impact Gaming. It's a store I think based out of Missouri. Bailey told me that he's seen them at a couple events or whatever. But this guy played Battle of Wits, and I commented on their video. I got no response. So I found that they had a Discord. I get in the Discord. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to find out this deck list for this person. One of the mods messaged me, and they're like, well, if you don't hear nothing back by the end of tomorrow, let me know, and I'll find out who it is. So I didn't hear nothing back. I sent the video to the mod. The mod did the research, found the guy, had the guy had the guy message me on Discord. So I got this cool Battle of Wits list that I posted. That was what I posted that for, and I already talked to the shops where I play at, and they're totally cool with me playing Battle of Wits, which I didn't think they would care anyways. But it does have a turn 2 win that requires 5 or 6 cards, so chances are I'm not ever going to have that. but it's a possibility. And it doesn't require a whole bunch of shuffling. There's a few tutors, like there's Formidable Speaker, Imperial Recruiter, Recross the Pass, which lets me I will essentially reveal my whole deck, and because I don't have the indicated card, I get to stack the deck pretty much because you put the cards back in any order. So I will set up like the top 7 cards and then just put everything else back on bottom because they're irrelevant. I'm just trying to get Goblin Charbelcher, but wins with Battle of Wits, Goblin Charbelcher, milling my entire deck. So hopefully I get to play some mill players at some point. And it'll probably be the most fun Battle of Wits deck I've ever played.
Heck yeah.
Hey, that's
I
pretty
don't,
fun.
I don't know how you do that. That's ridiculous.
No, that's
I also
definitely
finished
for the love of the game
Blood
thing.
Blockade Battlefront, which we talked about. And
Uh-huh.
I gave it originally an 8.6. I talked to Q before Skaggs joined. And I had started Sword Art Online again. I'm still in the first season, my favorite season. But I had remembered that I wrote an article a long time ago. And there's one of the seasons that I didn't enjoy as much as Blood Blockade Battlefront. So I told Q I have to raise my score to at least an 8.8 because it's better than that Sword Art season. That is not that high. And I started the Sword Art season because the anime in general because they got the game coming out in July, and I started playing this VR chat world called Project Aincrad, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But just glad not to be completely dead sick anymore, and looking forward to upcoming things. So
Nice, nice, nice. Well, I do have something that I wanted to. It's kind of we're kind of late and tardy to the party on this, but so is the company that's doing this. League of Legends is adding in voice chat now.
Oh no.
And some people are happy and some people are not so happy about it.
I'm
What?
terrified of that.
Yeah.
That could
Well,
be very, very bad for some people.
I I don't know. I personally don't think that it's all too bad. I think that I think the majority of people that are on there are probably too scared to say what they actually type and open up their own mouths. But I can understand the hesitancy on all that. But I don't
Well,
think it'll be worse than COD.
I've seen what some of those people type, and if they're implementing their own chat, that means you're going to have audio logs that Riot can. Is it Riot who does League?
yeah,
Yeah,
That they can go back through, and I mean, they've got you dead to rights. Then,
yeah. But
not that they didn't have you dead to rights with the chat, I guess, but even still,
yeah, the chat is going to be a very very interesting thing, and like funny enough, I've been playing Call of Duty the last week or so, and I New Age Call of Duty actually like the talking isn't nearly as bad like as what it
it used to
used
be.
to be back in the day. But fuck, I sound like an old timer right now, but I guess I am. But either way, it
or
the the thing that I find I'm hearing more in like those sort of lobbies isn't isn't like all the trash talking or anything, but motherfuckers don't know when their mic is on. Like that's the thing that's
that's
annoying
been
then.
forever.
But that
I guarantee they do, and they do it intentionally.
But like, I don't remember that being such a big thing back in like the 360 days to where like everybody just doesn't know that their mic's on and they're blasting loud
Everybody's just
music.
screaming at the
Oh,
same time, blasting music, vaping.
I never really cared about the vaping back when you're talking about like when they had like the old mods that sound like a
No,
jet taking off.
I'm talking about nowadays, just people vaping in the mic. You hear just loud as fuck, just taking a big ass hit of their vape in the microphone nowadays on Call of Duty. I don't play
Um,
nearly as much as some people do, but when I do play, mainly with Riley. When I do
I
play, that's the main thing I hear. And a lot of people that were in those Call of Duty lobbies, 2004, Modern Warfare 4, whatever the case was, are my age, your age. They're all kind of grown up, so it's more so people not sounding like little girls online, and they're just all adults now, just talking shit about people's skills.
Yeah, dude. Like here's the fucked up part. Like the part that see like I could see like the fact that I'm all like I'm grown up and shit is like instead of like having a squeaker like getting in trouble with his mom or some shit and be like, no, mom, I promise I didn't do that or whatever. Like
Yeah, you hear all
this
you hear
dude's
all those old
fucking
stories. Do you remember the "Bake Me a Cake" video? The kid
uh
playing like Halo 3 or Call of Duty, and his mom comes there. He's like, shut up," and he starts calling her a B word. He's like, "Bake me a cake, woman."
no.
That was a big thing back in the day.
I don't remember that at all. But I'm pretty positive I heard somebody get like the start of a divorce the other day. Like he was fucking yelling at this woman and was like, "You know what? I'm just fucking done. You can have I'm going to take the kids and you're not going to get anything." And I'm like, "Brother, you might want to get off the game. You might want to get off and talk like maybe talk to somebody. Like, get gone." And no, homie's just fucking getting it. And yeah, the amount of the portions of people's lives that are getting said now is wild to me. Like I said, it probably did happen back in the day, but I don't remember it to this extent.
Yeah.
And
My thoughts on the League of Legends thing is, as someone who's played a fair amount of MMOs, MOBAs, uh, been in the online space for a long time, I understand the benefits and why you'd want voice chat specifically in game on the client. I've played with TeamSpeak, I've played with Discord, um, Xbox Party, PlayStation parties, uh, anything you could think of voice chat wise. I've probably done it, and to have voice chat in the game client is an overall accessibility thing, ease of life situation. However, like this conversation we've been having, there's always going to be the detractors of the vulgar language and voice chat that's always going to exist no matter where you are. I actively play Elder Scrolls Online, and they've had in-game chat for a long time, which nobody even uses, to be honest. Like, there's very few people that use the zone chat for Elder Scrolls Online. Everybody's always in, respective console parties or Discord, and the text chat gets insane. And like, just imagine intense fighting, and people are still just going insane, typing in voice chat, not voice chat, in the text chat or whatever. And people on Elder Scrolls do get banned for different crazy stuff. There's one of my buddy I play with. His name is Free Results, and he got banned for someone had said something just crazy, and he called that person the name that you would call those types of people, and he and then our other friend that insinuated it both got comms banned for 3 days. So
Mm.
as long as Riot does a better job than Elder Scrolls because Elder Scrolls still has a lot of work to do and the banning the people that are need to be banned. So as long as Riot actually does a good job, I think the voice chat will be a good change. I'm a personal guy that hates when people ping on Smite, League of Legends, Dota 2. I fucking hate just repeated pings. Ping it fucking once.
They fixed that actually. You can't ping more than 3 times on something.
Okay, good. Just ping it fucking once. I know we need to attack this monster. I know the fucking guy snuck into the jungle. Ping it fucking once. I'll be there.
But yeah, no, I'd say Riot does a pretty decent job at banning people, even in even in the text chat as it is, because they have some fucking like AI that's like auto detecting specific words that will just pretty much instantly ban them after or time them out at the least at the end of the game that they're in. But yeah, no, I don't think it's gonna be as bad as what everybody thinks it's gonna be, but they're definitely a different breed to be having the voice chat, and like I said, I just don't think it's gonna be as bad as what people assume it's going to be.
I would say League probably gets the rap as like this general era, like game of like the decade of like the old school Call of Duty lobbies. I think people often compare League of Legends chat and toxicity to those old school Call of Duty lobbies out of all the other games that I hear
I mean,
about.
that's fair, honestly, because like there's people that I have in my life that I know, like they're not anywhere near like that in real life. Whenever they like how they are on the game, like
Yeah, Ryan Tracy. I'll call
well,
him out. Call him out right now. Calling you out, Ryan
no,
Tracy.
I'm not about
I
to
know.
call
No,
out
I am.
this
I know
one
you. I know
person.
you watch our. I know you watch our podcast, Ryan.
This is not.
I played with Tracy twice. You guys convinced me to get on League. I played twice, and to see one of my good buddies, Ryan Tracy, rage, like I've never seen him angry in real life. Like he's like the nicest person ever, but to see him rage in 2 games of League of Legends and dip out on us, that was crazy.
I've seen it to the point to where it's made Q angry too. But either way, the just the it's not Ryan Tracy. It's not. I don't think it's anybody that you know. But this dude is the very nicest person that one of the nicest people that I do actually know. Like if you just talk to him, and he said that he told somebody that he hopes that their child drinks bleach or some shit like that, and I was like, brother, you're
That's
different.
wild.
Yeah.
But I don't think shit like that's gonna come out in voice chat for 80% of the people that say shit like that. Because I think whenever voice chat's out there, people aren't gonna have the confidence to be able to tell people to fuck off like that. But I could be wrong. But
I think that's exclusively what's going to happen because your anonymity is still there regardless. Yes, it is
Yeah.
your voice, but that's what was great about the Call of Duty lobbies is people would just call them squeakers or make fun of their voice. It didn't matter how good your point was or how real you were trying to be. You got fucked and you look like a goofball and now we're clowning on you. So
yeah, if your scoreline wasn't good, your fucking argument was bad.
Yep.
Like,
And sometimes even if your scoreline was good and you still sounded like a little kid, it didn't
oh,
matter.
dude, if you were a squeaker, then yeah, no, you could never do anything right. There
I will
was
say,
no doing right.
I was more of a Halo guy. That's what my game battles and the clan stuff that we did back in the day for game battles and stuff. It was mostly that, but we had other games that we played. There was one squeaker. I don't know what his real name was, but we played with him all the time. Me and my buddy Jake. I don't know if he'll watch this podcast, but I know he will remember him. His name was Green Book, and he was a prime squeaker. But he's probably like the third best Halo player I've played with in my life, and I've played with some good Halo players. So Green Book is the only squeaker I ever gave a pass.
Yeah, I don't think I ever had any squeakers on my team consistently. Like never that I teamed up with. Although I did have the opposite. He was a dude who was about 15 years old. We were all about 15, and this dude sounded like he could have been 35. Homie had the deepest voice ever, and he he used to always get called a fucking old man and old geezer, and why is he on this fucking game? He needs to get a life and everything like that. And it's like the dude just got out of like his freshman year classes in high school, and he's getting called an old man. And I was like, man, that's a weird reverse, but yeah, it's I think it'll be fun. I think it's gonna make for some very funny moment in League of Legends. And
There'll probably be some gaming reels on Instagram and stuff that we'll see.
oh yeah, I don't know a date or anything whenever they're supposed to actually implement it, but I do hope it's soon.
Everyone thought that T1's league videos couldn't get any better.
I feel bad for people like that actually, because as soon as they hear his voice, they're just going to try and make him as angry as they possibly can. They're going to rage bait him to the max.
Yep.
Because that's the other kind of flip of the coin is like, yeah, you can do that during like text, but God, you can do it so much better with a voice chat. You can make somebody mad so much easier and so much faster.
You can get streamers to break TOS if you're not careful too. Well,
Yep.
the streamer's not careful, so
That's what I think. Really, like popular streamers like him might not use it all that often because of that reason. But
Yeah.
I hope they do. I hope they use it a little bit. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
piggybacking off of your League of Legends voice chat reveal, last week, I think it was last week, we had the Xbox partner preview for March of 2026. So I'm going to go through and list these games. Some of them you might have heard of, some of them you might not have. Kicking off the list, we have Alien Deathstorm, which is a game from Rebellion. It's an atmospheric first-person adventure where second-to-second survival hinges on responding to monstrous, constantly shifting threats on a storm-blasted off-world colony. In the world premiere, you first get a glimpse of a settlement ravaged by violent weather conditions, terrifying alien creatures, where figuring out what happened quickly evolves into a fight for survival. Not really the survival guy, as we've talked about before, but I do like the alien movies and stuff like that, so it's something I might check out. Then we have Artificial Detective. The world premiere Artificial Detective is a stylish post-apocalyptic adventure. In the trailer, you meet a wisecracking robot detective tasked with his greatest case yet, finding out why humanity has disappeared. The one twist in the mystery, a single human child has been left behind, and the pair must work together to solve the case.
That's kind of cool.
Then we have Ascend to Zero, which is a game I've heard of. I've not dived into it, but I've heard of it. You've been time to save the world and ascend a hero. This action roguelike time is your ultimate weapon, and you're able to manipulate it to gain edge in battle, freeze foes in their tracks, gain a second or two to reset, reload, and make the most of your moments to utilize skills, abilities, refine your run in the cyberpunk-inspired pixel art setting. And then for the younger crowd, we have Bluey's Happy Snaps. You get to explore the world of Bluey through a whole new lens in Bluey's Happy Snaps. You join Bluey and Bingo for a big, exciting adventure. Capture all your favorite moments using Dad's special camera, discover new locations, stuff like that. Dispatch.
Pokemon Snap, but it's Bluey.
That's kind of what it sounds like, actually.
Dude, do you get that something that I feel like isn't out and about all that much anymore? It's like old shitty like games from cartoons and stuff like that, like the SpongeBob games, the
They still make
Fairly
those.
Odd-
The Rugrats games.
The
I
Rug-
remember
Yes.
those on
There's the
PlayStation.
Rugrats games, like Chaotic Game, Ben 10, stuff like
Well,
that.
I just loved back in the era. Like I remember a game that I hated because it was just hard. It was stupidly made. Was Monster House. They made Monster House for the PlayStation 2, and every time a movie would come out, they would make a silly game,
Yep.
and it's like, why did we do that? This game kind of sucks, but it's the only one my grandma bought me, so that's what I'm playing this week.
Yeah, my
I
grandma
felt like Croc. Do you guys remember Croc? It
Yes.
was like
Yeah.
my mom, my real mom, tried to. Her and my uncle would always buy me like these off-brand kiddie games. Like Croc is like the knockoff Spyro.
Yep.
Mhm.
If you're gonna buy me a game like that, you might as well just buy me Spyro. But so I definitely feel like those weird kid knockoff games.
But they had their place because some of them were insanely fun, and
Oh,
for
yeah.
what they were, like the Chaotic game was not like a 10 out of 10 game, but it was entertaining as hell.
I remember
hoping-
playing Chef's Love Shack. It's full of nothing but South Park mini games. Was absolutely hilarious, and I should have not been playing it as a kid.
I have got to. There's my phone. I used to play this game, and I remember it was like the first game that I think I ever played. I've probably told you guys both about it, but it was a Mickey Mouse game where you would like. What I remember is you would like cook breakfast. So there was like cooking bacon, cooking eggs, but there was like just little games like that, and I'm pretty sure it was on a disc. So I just would sit on the computer and fucking play the shit out of that game.
Yeah. No, stupid fun games need to come back.
They also revealed that Dispatch is coming to Xbox. It is a very popular game that released not too long ago, but it's an episodic superhero hit. It's coming to Xbox. You play as Robert Robertson III, formerly known as Superhero Mecha Man, who's forced into a desk job as a dispatcher for a team of reformed villain turned superhero after his iconic mech suit is destroyed. I wrote an article about what video game world people want to be trapped in. We talked about this towards the end of last year because I picked Sword Art, and everybody thought I was crazy. Somebody actually picked the world of Dispatch, which I thought was interesting. We have the Eternal Life of Goldman. Jump into this whimsical platformer coming to Xbox later this year as the titular Goldman. You explore a magical hand-drawn world inspired by fairy tales and myths. Your mission is to kill the deity, a mysterious, fearsome creature that everyone knows about, but no one has ever seen. Equipped with his trusty cane and unique host of abilities, Goldman must venture across this vibrant landscape, each area lovingly crafted and colored by hand using classic frame-by-frame techniques. Then we have The Expanse. I posted this link in the chat if you guys want to look at the images or the videos. The
Okay.
Expanse, Osiris Reborn. We got a fresh look at gameplay for this, alongside news that the beta for this title is coming April 22nd, and that the game's release window is set for spring next year. This third-person action RPG set in James S.A. Corey's iconic universe. The power balance between Mars and the Belt is on the edge of collapse. As your own custom captain, you'll gather a crew and forge your own path through a volatile solar system shattered by conflict. It gives me very minor Mass Effect vibes in a way, which I love Mass Effect. So then we have Forever Ago, the re-announcement trailer. Follow Alfred on a journey to unlock memories of his life in Forever Ago, an upcoming narrative adventure. Revisit beautiful locations from Alfred's past, meet characters, and document his story with photographs in a single-player road trip that explores broken dreams, loss, and regret, but also courage, hope, and the power of friendship. Sounds like Yu-Gi-Oh! Sounds like Yu-Gi-Oh! Next game up, we got Frog Squad, and I just want to let everybody know that this is spelled SQWAD, Frog Squad. Slapstick puzzle platformer Frog Squad is hopping on Xbox. Work with your friends to explore the sewers and secure food for the Swamp King. Use your exceptional sticky, froggy tongue to traverse levels and bring back enough snacks to hit the food quota for the king, lest you become the food quota. With support for up to 8 players, it's going to be a fun cooperative. Get it? Cooperative. And in parentheses, they put sorry. Option for your next game night. It seems kind of funny. Gang Beast was a game that came out years ago that has just some mindless fun time. So I might actually play or see what Frog Squad is about. Then we have Grave Seasons. Launches August 14th on Xbox, PC, and cloud. It'll be launching day one with Game Pass, and it'll be an Xbox Play Anywhere title. And the latest trailer for this farming sim. There you go, all you farming sim, Stardew Valley people out there. This game is for you. In this farming sim, with a terrible twist, your old cellmate writes an ominous letter about the new town you just moved to, Ashenridge. While it seems warm and welcoming at first, something is amiss beneath the surface. In addition to the game's release being announced, they also announced a public demo is coming soon. Hades 2, the sequel to the critically acclaimed roguelike, is coming to Xbox. As the immortal princess of the underworld, you'll journey through a vast and ever-deepening mythical realm, battling the forces of the Titan of Time with the full power of Olympus at your side. Hades 2 builds upon the predecessor in a number of ways. New locations, challenges, upgrade systems, and surprises await as you delve into this ever-shifting underworld once again. I've heard nothing but positive things about Hades 2 when it came out for the Switch. And if it's that good on the Switch, it has to be that good on Xbox or PlayStation as well. So looking forward to that. We have Hunter the Reckoning Death Wish, which was the opening of the show. It's an upcoming first-person action game set in the World of Darkness universe. This atmospheric first trailer follows a team of hunters out to take down dangerous vampire masquerading as law enforcement. Before teasing some other locations you'll explore. Hunting down vampires kind of sounds like Blood Blockade a little bit. Next game is called Musa Dirty Fate. Kind of gives off like a weird like mafia yakuza vibe. An upcoming action title set in feudal Korea. An unknown powerful force has swept your land and the fields with fields of crops. With field and crops withering to dust, the people have turned to the most extreme methods of survival. It's up to you to track down the threat, save your subject. It has Korean-inspired landscapes paired with slick third-person combat. Then we have Serious Sam, for all you Serious Sam fans out there. Serious Sam Shadowverse. Serious Sam's back with an explosive new shooter unveiled today. In this new installment, 5 alternate universe Sams must come together, work together, and save Shadowverse from the antics of the series' godlike antagonist, Mental. The 5 Sams, with all their own unique abilities, must face off against hordes of ferocious enemies while taking advantage of a rich arsenal of powerful weapons. True to Serious Sam form, it looks like a lot of fun. Stalker 2 Cost of Hope DLC. I have nothing but respect for these people as um, the Stalker 2 developers were still developing the Stalker 2 game while war and shit was going on. Like there was developers that have been in interviews that worked on the game and had to go to war and then come back and work on the game. There's developers that worked on the game that did not make it through the war. So shout out to these developers for continuing to do that in such a tumultuous time. But Cost of Hope DLC, something huge is about to happen in Chernobyl anomalous zone. GSC Game World has given us first look at major expansion for Stalker 2. It will let you take part in the conflict between two iconic factions of the zone, Duty and Freedom. You visit iconic Chernobyl nuclear power plant, the Iron Force region, as well as other new locations across the zone in a massive story that can take more than 20 hours to explore. To have a DLC that provides 20 hours of content, even if story content in general is pretty massive. So, um, I didn't beat Stalker 2, but I will go back and revisit it when this DLC comes out. We have Stranger Than Heaven. It's the next brand new title from RGG Studio, and in this trailer we learned for the first time the game's story takes place across 5 different time periods in 5 unique cities. And then it doesn't really give a lot of information. It says find out more on May 6th. There'll be a special look at this game. So brand new broadcast that will dive deeper into the setting, story, and characters on May 6th. A game that people might have heard about, Super Meat Boy. Well, Super Meat Boy 3D finally is released as of this time. Our favorite tiny meat sack is back in Super Meat Boy 3D. And not much longer to wait. Came out March 31st. Experience a new take on the toughest nails platformer in a whole new dimension. Test your reflexes against precise jumps, obscene obstacles, and uncover secrets dotted across levels that get more and more brutal as you progress. I never played Super Meat Boy. However, I did know it existed. So, being that Super Meat Boy 3D is in Game Pass, I will probably try it out and see if I like it before I buy it. Then we have Vaunted. Vaunted is another tactical RPG with explosive action and dynamic combat where turn-based planning is paired with real-time for all you younger people out there that don't like turn-based, paired with real-time action to open up unique opportunities. Unravel the story of an expedition gone horribly wrong with the help of 3 extremely unreliable narrators, powerful weapons, and yeah, it does say extremely unreliable narrators. Powerful weapons, unique special abilities, and a band of questionable allies. It sounds like our friend group. It's coming to Xbox and PC later this year, so keep an eye out for more details. I'm sure you guys have heard about this game, Wuthering Waves, which has been on PlayStation and maybe Switch or phone or something like that, but it's an kind of like a Genshin Impact style situation. Um, Wuthering Waves is a story-rich RPG built around exploration and freedom. Heading to Xbox, you awaken as Rover with no memory and join a diverse group of resonators as you search for your past. Wuthering Waves' vibrant anime-style open world becomes your playground. Through a sleek selection of traversal mechanics, Rover can soar, swing, slide, speed across areas on a motorbike to explore the world and battle foes with ease. So out of all of these games, the one that sticks out the most to me, I'm kind of a like a we talked about I talk about when I review a game like the aesthetics of like the world and story and stuff like that. So the stuff that's kind of sticking out to me, which I'm gonna go with The Expanse, Osiris Reborn, or what's the other game? Or Musa Dirty Fate. The Osiris Reborn sounds like a very mild Mass Effect style game, exploring space, that style game, and space is something that just fascinates me. So I will definitely check that game out. But Musa Dirty Fate, to see some cool Korean inspired landscapes and I like just looking at the steel frame, the thumbnail. Like the guy looks like an Yakuza style dude. Like he kind of looks like a badass dude. He's got a scar under his left eye. Kind of sticks out to me. So, is there any games specifically that stick out to you guys?
The only one that seems interesting to me, and I have been kind of excited ever since I heard about it,
Bluey?
was Bluey. Yeah, I mean, dude. No, Frog Spawn. Or Frog Squad, not Frog Spawn. Frog Squad.
Frog Squad does sound fun.
Yeah, it's the only one that seems interesting to me. Everything else is just eh.
What about you, Q?
Super Meat Boy 3D seems fun. I don't know. I think it's just about time to let old Meat Boy just die. But
Yeah.
That's your favorite. It's your favorite meat sack. Remember?
it's somebody's. It's somebody's for sure. I don't think it's mine.
So quick little sidebar. Has anybody seen the fucking snake that hates Markiplier?
Yes, I have.
I have not.
She cannot stand Markiplier and attacks her owner's laptop every time he's on screen. And I can't remember what the snake's called, but and at this point Markiplier knows about the snake, and so he'll mention it. He's mentioned it in his streams before, and there was a mod put in like Resident Evil or something like that for him that was that snake popping out like as like a jump scare. I was like, that looks pretty cool. But Super Meat Boy just kind of reminds me of like maybe a Markiplier game, that and Dispatch. So that's what made me think about that. But
Thought you were gonna say we were getting some Dispatch, the next like season of Dispatch out, and I'm like, man, that would be cool.
Yeah,
because I thought Dispatch was excellent.
Yeah, give me more Jack Spadici as the midget and Critical
Well,
as
to be
the
honest,
Batman.
we have coming up in June. We have Summer Games Fest and the return of Xbox Fan Fest. So there's a potential for the next season of Dispatch to be revealed there. There's a lot of reveals that reveals. A lot of reveals that happen at Summer Games Fest, and some reveals obviously that happen at the Xbox showcase, but I look more towards a reveal like that to be at Summer Games Fest, and I could be surprised. I think I can reveal. I'll be going to Summer Games Fest, which is at like the YouTube theater where they on Friday, and then Saturday I got accepted to the developer play days. I can't talk about what is there because I don't know much of what is there yet, but I can say that I got accepted to go there, so I'll be with the team doing interviews and stuff like that. So there's a chance, like, if a game like that would get revealed, it would probably be there on that Saturday. So who knows what can happen.
Yeah, the 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 hopes are that we'll know and see more of Fable by then too, because I mean it's supposed to come out in the
Halo,
fall.
they will. My prediction. Bookmark this, clip this, whatever you do when you edit the video. People that watch this, Halo, Gears, Forza, and Fable will all be at the Xbox showcase. So when you're sitting at home in your computer chairs, your couches, petting Vex, petting whatever your dog's name is, Skags, and you're watching the show, I don't remember Skag's dog's name.
Koro, dude.
I've never even heard him say Koro on the podcast.
I've said it a few times.
I've literally been at your house when you had Vex. That's the difference. But Halo, Gears, Forza, and Fable will all be at the Xbox showcase. Gears, we already know because they've literally have a Gears E-Day extra show. Like, you'll have the showcase, extra show after the showcase. They've already announced the Gears E-Day, so that's not really a prediction. We already know it's going to be there. So Halo, Gears, Forza, and your Fable. Speaking of games that we need to hear about, do you guys ever hear of a game called State of Decay? Do you remember that game?
I heard of it. I never played it.
Yeah.
State of Decay 3 was announced like 5 or 6 years ago. Well, it's not dead. It's actually alive. Actually, it might have been announced in like 2018 or 2019. But State of Decay 3, shout out to GameSpot. I'm reading this article from them. State of Decay 3 is back from the dead, and you can play it soon. State of Decay 3 has been missing in action from several Xbox live streams, game showcases for years now, but at long last, the threequel, because it's the third game, resurfaced, and developer Undead Labs has announced they'll be hosting an alpha test for the zombie apocalypse survival game. Signups are now live for State of Decay 3, which I did post this in the chat, I think. If I didn't, I will. You can sign up to test out the alpha. The alpha playtest will kick off in May. Participants can expect 4-player co-op, new base building and resource strategies, and plenty of combat. If scavenging supplies in the middle of a zombie outbreak sounds fun to you, then grab your ruck, pack some mags, and register for a chance to be included in the alpha, State of Decay co-creator Bryant Fitzgerald said, while adding that there will be more opportunities throughout the year to test the game. Okay, I was right. State of Decay 3 was first announced in 2020, and updates have been sporadic over the last 6 years. Earlier this year, head of Game Studios Craig Duncan said the game is coming along well, and that he's made several visits to Undead Labs recently. This new look at State of Decay 3 comes at a time when Xbox is undergoing big changes, which we've talked about behind the scenes, with Phil Spencer retiring and the announcement that Asha Sharma would take his role as Microsoft Gaming CEO. Since she has taken over, we talked about Q. I think it was a solo podcast with me and you. We talked about how she was very good at the PR speak, we called it. Being able to use those buzzwords and get fans talking. Since then, Asha Sharma's outlined a return to Xbox initiative as one of her key priorities, which we talked about on her Twitter post. Making 2026 a big year for the brand, as it will see the release of Kiln, which we talked about is the pottery 4-player thing. Forza Horizon 6 and Fable all coming out this year. The Xbox Game Showcase is also held in June. Following it will be Gears of War E-Day. Asha Sharma has also provided some other minor ease of life things with like Xbox home screen. We talked about it to where you can modify certain things, have more groups, colors, just random stuff like that. Xbox hasn't had a fan fest in quite a few years now, and this year's the first actual fan fest. If you were confused by what last year was, that was a community-held event. So shout out to Ben Kenobi and Hargeet Shani and the other people that set that up. That wasn't held by Xbox. That was held by the Xbox community. So I've never been to an Xbox Fan Fest. I have entered the sweepstakes, so hopefully I will be able to go. But they call it Xbox Fan Fest Tour 2026, where they'll be visiting like 6 or 8 cities across the world, London, 2 or 3 places over here, other countries I can't remember exactly. So far she is doing okay. We will continue to see what happens with Xbox and Asha as time continues. But State of Decay 3 returning. I know some people aren't quote unquote into like the zombie meta. I did play some State of Decay 2 by myself. To me, it's a type of game where I think if you play with friends, it's absolutely great. I didn't have any friends at the time that did play State of Decay 2, so if I have friends that are playing when it comes out, I will probably try it. I am going to sign up for the alpha to see if I can get in. Is zombie games like that something you guys play? I don't know if you guys played like Left 4 Dead or anything back in the day. Are you guys into the zombie stuff?
I like the zombie games for like a few minutes. I think it's fun to run around, see the maps, fight, but like what I'm looking for in a game is I want a clear direction and I want to be able to beat it. Now I don't know about State of Decay if there is some kind of like end get you're progressing towards something, but it kind of sounds like the rest of the zombie games where it's just like set up a camp, see how long you can stay alive before they eventually get you, because their end game is that the zombies do get you.
I did not play a lot of State of Decay 2, and I didn't even know State of Decay existed for the first one, so I
Yeah.
cannot confirm or deny any story type situation or anything like that. I just
Okay.
know there's a base, there's a resource system, um, kill zombies, play with your friends. I don't know about a story or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I don't mess with the zombies games. I don't think that they're all that. I don't think they're very fun. I yeah, that's where I stand with them. So,
Right, moving on then.
um,
Go ahead. Sorry.
have you guys kept up to date at all on Soulframe?
I
Do you?
am not a Warframe or Soulframe person. I don't like it. I dislike Warframe stuff as much as I dislike Destiny stuff. However, if you are familiar with lordsofgaming.net, there is one specific person. I will mention him here, Flame, aka Joe Repco. He is the Warframe guy. If there is an update, a build, uh, a live stream, anything. We have everything Warframe and Soulframe on the website. So if you go into the search bar, you type in Warframe or Soulframe, you will find everything that you need to know there. He goes to TennoCon I think it's TennoCon where Warframe goes to, but
Yeah.
we have everything Warframe and Soulframe you could want. However, it is not a game that I like.
No, you don't. Oh, what about it? Because
I'm
it
not a big
seems
fan of games where
opposite.
you have to like um seasonal stuff, or where you have to switch like suits or anything like that. That's why I'm not like a big Diablo guy. I tried Black Death. Don't get me wrong, Diablo is absolutely fun, but I don't want to do season by season stuff. I tried Black Desert. Black Desert has kind of like a seasonal situation, and that's where all my Neverwinter friends went to. The majority of them went to Black Desert, and I tried it because that's where all my friends went, and it just wasn't my style. So I'm not big into like the seasonal things where you do something for a month and then have to change it or swap something. So it's not really my style.
Interesting. I would have thought that that would be perfectly fine with you since you like MMOs and stuff. I think
I did
they're
try it when I first started streaming, and whenever I started, the end of 2014 or 2015, whenever I started streaming, I tried Warframe because shout out to Bang Pops is what his streamer name is now, and his girlfriend Shy Bear. They were the streamers that got me into streaming, and I know Shy Bear tried Warframe as well. I think he might have tried it too. It's not for me.
okay.
But kudos to everybody else that enjoys it.
You say I know me and Q ran around on Warframe for like a month back in the day,
Yep.
but Soulframe looks like a much more like my style of game, and it looks fun. Have you kept up on it
But
at
checked it
all?
out, yeah. Mm-mm.
It's instead of being all futuristic, it is set, you know, almost like
Oh,
old
that's sick.
old English, like fantasy, high
Yeah.
fantasy stuff. Like it's the inverse of what Warframe is. It removes the fast pacedness of the game with like a more methodical style, and it you still have like frames, but they're not frames. I forget what they are called, but
Is that armor?
it might be armor, but I think it might just be called builds in the game, or at least it was whenever I seen it.
Yeah, because it gives me like Dark Souls vibes, the way
Mm-hmm.
some of the armor and stuff looks on it. So that's pretty cool.
Yep, that's what it gives me that because I like the Dark Soul style like combat, but in like an open world like an MMO style that would be awesome because that's kind of what New World gave me, but obviously we that's bye bye done with, but maybe Soulframe can do it and stick around. I just want them to come out with it already because they're supposed to be coming out end of this year, but
End of this year.
mm-hmm, end of this year, early next year.
Okay.
You
Once
can
again,
you
cheap plug. There's been constant updates on our website, so anybody out there that might be interested, you can go there. Anything Warframe, even Soulframe. There's less Soulframe stuff because the updates on that are less so because obviously
yeah.
Warframe's out a lot longer. So definitely, if you want any Soulframe updates or anything like that, lordsofgaming.net.
And the people who are making Soulframe and have made Warframe have done from my understanding, have done a really good job at like not letting uh not letting Warframe suffer because they are working on Soulframe.
Yeah, Digital
So
Extremes is, is,
yeah,
is, is the team.
yeah, that's what I had to go all the way to the bottom. But they're doing evidently a pretty good job. Their community seems still happy with everything, but I wish they would get the Soul Frame out faster because it also looks like I can have a giant wolf with me, and I want to have a giant wolf with me. Seems
Maybe
cool.
in the future I could probably try to get Joe to guest on our podcast, and he could tell you all the stuff that he's allowed to about Soulframe. I'm sure he knows stuff that he's probably talked to people that we can't talk about, but I'm sure he knows a lot of stuff that he can talk about. So maybe in the future I could probably get him to come on. You guys could probably ask him questions about Soulframe.
Heck yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, because every once in a while I get a hankering to hop on Warframe again, but as of late, anytime I get that feeling, I'm like, yeah, but then there's Soulframe. Let me look that up and see where it's at. And oh
Yeah.
man, it's still in the development stage. I can
It's
play it,
kind of
but it's in like a very pre-alpha state.
it's kind of funny that Warframe and Soulframe's not my style, as well as Destiny 2, considering the original branding for, well, I don't even want to call it branding, but the original beginnings of the Iron Lords podcast comes from Iron Banner, which is a Destiny situation, and I do
Mm-hmm.
not like Destiny. So
It
kind kind of funny, and like the four Iron Lords, Lord Cognito, King David, Sovereign, and Addict, are Destiny people. So it is interesting times when we just kind of rag on each other for they rag on, well, some people rag on Joe for liking Warframe. They call it Snoreframe. And then some people rag on the Destiny people for Destiny updates or whatever the case may be. So it's fun times at Lords of Gaming.
listen, I've played both of them. They named the Iron uh the podcast, the website after one of the best parts about Destiny, but Warframe is got a whole different fun to it. If I had to choose one to like at their peaks to like I could only play the one or the other, it might actually be Warframe though.
Really?
Yeah. The only thing with Warframe is though is that I would play I would play so much of it in such a short amount of time that I would burn myself out quickly. The only thing that sucks about Warframe is I don't feel like it's very like I would lose track at what I'm doing or trying to do and not I couldn't figure out where to go to do what I needed to do type thing. So I guess that's like not very intuitive would be the right word for it. But
What
that
happened
was
with
my only
BCG Card Shop Simulator for me? I played so much of it because stupid games like that can be addicting sometimes, and just kind of burnt myself out on it. Still fun, but
yeah, and that's the only thing about Warframe that I would eventually just get tired of not knowing what to do sometimes with it. Where like Destiny is a very in your face, here's this giant marker where you need to go. Like you never get lost with that. But I would get lost with Warframe, but it was very fun while I was playing it.
next up on the agenda, I didn't do much while I was sick. However, I did explore something called Project Eincrad. For people that don't know what Project Eincrad is, I was going around Google or whatever, just checking to see what news was popping up on my feed. And I seen this thing for Project Eincrad. Eincrad is the world that the first season of Sword Art takes place in, as well as you can go back and visit Eincrad after Aki Kakaiba gives Kirito the seed, and they kind of explain that situation about what the seed is and stuff like that. Allows you to go back and visit that world. So I've never done anything with VR chat. However, Project Eincrad is a world that exists within VR chat. It's the closest we've come to living in Sword Art Online. So, what is Project Eincrad? So, after spending 20 hours inside Project Eincrad, this isn't just another VR chat world you load into for a few minutes and then forget. It's something much closer to what fans of Sword Art Online have imagined for years. From the moment that I spawned into Town of Beginnings, the world felt authentic, almost like stepping directly into early episodes of the series. The architecture, the layout, even the music all work out together to create a sense of familiarity that pulls you in. The song I'm talking about is like, if you remember right, do you remember the scene when Asuna cooks that like S rank food for Kirito at her house?
Yeah.
That's kind of like the main song that plays in Town of Beginnings. So it's kind of like a real calming, soothing situation that kind of pulls you in. The game, and it's unlike most fan worlds in VR chat, it's a fully playable RPG. So there's fighting, there's level system, there's money, everything. Developed by Argus VRC, the game development group, the project goes as far as exploration by introducing core gameplay mechanics, including combat, leveling, a player-driven economy using core. I think it's supposed to be COL, but COL, but I have COR. But what really makes Project Eincrad stand out is not just how it looks, how much there actually is to do. You can explore pretty much floor one areas, I think, is what I have been able to explore. It has real-time motion-based combat. Level progressions currently capped around level 10. I've never seen anybody over level 10. I've never just physically asked anybody what the level cap is, but I assume it's level 10. There's a skill tree with attributes that focuses on strength and agility that also provides skills like dashing or regeneration or stuff like that. Obviously, the player economy that I mentioned. Damage is based on swing speed and accuracy, which makes the system feel far more physical than traditional MMOs. However, this also creates a clear divide in how the game is best played. I play sitting, and I notice a big difference between when I'm sitting, the combat is clunky and inconsistent. But when you're standing and actively moving, everything is super fluid, and that really feels how you're supposed to be playing the game, is like standing up. Um, It seems like they kind of have like the full range of motion, like VR experience in mind. Exploring floor 1, it's kind of like a faithful recreation. I've explored Town of Beginnings, Tolbana, I think is how you pronounce it, and the surrounding wilderness zones. After extended time, I also posted pictures in the Discord if you guys want to look at the pictures that I posted. After extended time in the world, the attention to detail becomes impossible to ignore. Town of Beginnings feels peaceful and lived in, especially with familiar music playing in the background. Beyond the town, the surrounding environments, such as mountains and forests. I will say the pictures, when you take a picture in VR, it looks a lot different than if you're actually seeing it in VR. So you just kind of got to imagine if you're like seeing this in VR versus the actual pictures, but the pictures are okay. Beyond the town, the surrounding environment, such as mountains, forests, open fields, add to the immersion, make exploration genuinely rewarding. It doesn't look like Aincrad to me. It actually feels like I was there. However, obviously not to where like I'm taking damage, I'm gonna die. I would have enjoyed that as well. Um, while the world's impressive, onboarding new players needs quite a bit of improvement. There's very few helpful signs that tells like the very basics of gameplay, what you can do. But beyond that, you're kind of left to figure things out on your own, unless you run into someone willing to help, which I did, thankfully. The NPCs don't clearly indicate that they offer quests. You just kind of talk to, like, you can tell who an NPC is and who's not an NPC, but you kind of have to go talk to people and see if they have a quest. A lot of NPCs do, but there are some that don't. So, like, there's no indication on which one offers quests and which ones don't yet. Um, you'll have to talk to multiple characters to discover them. The system feels organic, but it's extremely confusing early on. So if you're a new player, you will have a difficult time until you get used to the game. Progression includes a variety of weapons, including swords, maces, rapiers. The best weapon I currently have is a rapier. There's hidden loot chests throughout the world. Even in Town of Beginnings, you can go into the random buildings. Like there's a tavern, there's weapon shops, so you can actually buy stuff, and you might find random chests there. Like I said, the skill systems allows you to invest in strength and agility. During my time playing, one of the more memorable moments I'll mention came with another player that helped me complete a quest. We discovered a hidden chest behind a waterfall, which is what found me that cool rapier. Not really a rapier guy because you can do blunt damage, but a rapier it's blunt and it has a point, and you kind of got to stab people to deal damage with rapier. It's why I don't really like it. Moments like the finding that weapon behind the waterfall led to the game's sense of adventure and cooperation. However, there's also real risk involved. Because if you know sword art, the premise is if you die, you die. Well, if you die in Project Aincrad VR chat, your character resets to level 1 and you lose all weapons, all items. The only thing you start with is like very base stuff. You get the mirror. If you remember right from the anime, they have the mirror they look at. Doesn't do anything as far as I know, but reset to level 1. I died 3 times by drowning before I learned how to swim. Luckily, I was only level 1, but I did die 3 times because I couldn't swim. I did figure out how to swim afterwards, but it was difficult at first. Even failing to swim can result in death. Adds a layer of tension to the game that feels like true Sword Art Online. Project Aincrad includes a player killing system that adds to another level of realism, which is going to be ironic once I tell you about this. Players who kill other players turn from green to orange, just like in the anime. Orange players are marked as player killers. They can be attacked in safe zones. However, they cannot attack other players in safe zones. There are safe zones, just like the anime. During my time in the world, I witnessed multiple players being killed just right outside Town of Beginnings. Like, there's a little campfire where a lot of people hang out and they just talk and all that stuff. But once you go across that bridge, it's open season. I literally seen players being killed, which reinforces the idea that the world has consequences. I even had a player tell me to go away or they would slime me, as they call it in this game, the younger generation in their slang. They would slime me, which is slang for killing me. One of the systems that pushes the experience closer to the SAO fantasy. And we'll get to why that part is funny in a second. The community plays a huge role in shaping the experience, as there's a lot of systems still in development when it comes to Project Aincrad. Most players I encountered were really cool, helpful, especially when it comes to learning the new systems or completing quests, because there's no quest icon unless I just didn't know how to view a quest icon to tell me where certain things was. So like a quest of like finding these 10 flowers or this one rare herb I needed to find. Unless I did it wrong. I talked to some players that had 800 to over 1,000 hours in this world. And if the level cap is 10, you know, salute to those fucking troopers, because couldn't be me. Um, However, like any online space, there will be a few less friendly encounters, like the instance I mentioned above with the player killing. Players have begun forming their own systems, including unofficial guild structures, group based progression, and role playing driven interactions, which is cool because MMOs and games like this, the thing that keeps them going is the player base, whether it's World of Warcraft, whether it's Elder Scrolls Online, Sword Art Online, any game, the player base is the important part. So if you have players interested enough that they're driving a situation like Project Aincrad, which is still in early development and has people 800 to 1,000 hours, that's pretty good. Interesting enough, I end up joining a guild called Laughing Coffin, which is a direct nod to SAO famous player killing group, though I've not gone down that path myself and killed anybody yet. Um, I specifically joined them because the guild leader is, for some reason, very feared in this Project Aincrad world. I have no idea why, but this guy is like feared. So I joined Laughing Coffin for protection purposes for now until I am strong enough to kill people. So as of March 2026, Project Aincrad's continue to evolving. Things that are missing is the full guild system. As I mentioned, the guild systems ran by the players. They all, like each guild, like for example, Laughing Coffin, like we have our own Discord, and there's like indicators in VR chat that will appear above your avatar that will say like Laughing Coffin or Knights of the Blood Oath or White Dragon Alliance, whatever the case is, to indicate that you're in that guild system. Friend list isn't instituted. There are some shop NPCs that don't have their full functionality yet, but they've been put into the game that they say, like if you go up and talk to them, they say, our shop will be opening soon. Come back and visit us then. Additional gameplay systems, level cap increase. Known issues that I experienced is there's a couple enemies that I did kill that were bugged. So, like, they didn't fully die. Like, I dropped their health to 0. It was very, very minor and only happened once or twice. I did hear people, because I pay attention when people talk. That's what you do as a gaming journalist. There's reports of item duplication. I didn't see anybody duplicating items, just hearing conversation. So whether it's true or not, you know, take that with a grain of salt. They have a lot of cool weapons. They got this really badass hammer. I'm supposed to get one for joining the guild. This cool looking rune sword that's worth like millions of whatever their currency is called. Currently, only around 28 people from Argus VRC actively working on this game. But after 20 hours, my overall takeaway is it's a decent, surprisingly immersive, sort of online experience. The world felt authentic, exploration's rewarding. The systems that are in place show how much potential the project has. At the same time, I want to make sure it's very clear that it's still a work in progress, still missing some features. New players will struggle. And in the beginning, occasional bugs hold it back from being a complete experience. But even with those limitations, I feel it delivers something most games don't, and that is feeling like you're inside Aincrad. So, I shared this article in the chat. So I know I said a lot. Um, when it comes to an immersive type of experience for any anime world you guys want to be in, what do you think of Project Aincrad and what I talked about?
Seems like they're doing probably a pretty good job at making it close to what we had in the anime. And I mean, as long as like the combat ends up nice, and obviously the I think one of the big issues is probably going to be just getting out of the starting area It sounds like because
I will say, I do want to say that all the people that were killed, um, ironically enough, it wasn't people from Laughing Coffin killing those new players. There's actually a rule, which is surprising to me because Laughing Coffin didn't have any fucking rules, but there is a rule that we don't kill anybody under level 6 unless like they're attacking us per se. And there's areas where Laughing Coffin won't kill people. So I mean, there's some minor like rules. These are just random people killing people. So
but like because like I play like the New World PvP servers, and that gets to the point to where nobody there's a group of people that progress a few levels ahead of everybody, and then after that no one can do another story mission. It's not happening because those people are just sitting and looking at a choke point where everybody's got to go through and everybody's being destroyed. That's just
I will
how it'll happen.
I will say as you go across that bridge, like there's not just people waiting to kill you. Like um, the person that said that if I didn't go away, they would slime me. Clearly, I could tell by the voice like they were a teenager. Um, I was just walking up to their conversation. So take that as you will. Like I didn't have anybody as I was exploring trying to kill me, but there was the time that I'm talking about. Like I was by the campfire talking to somebody. I did see somebody walk out there and get killed. Once um, the guild leader was talking to me, and I walked up to that same person, that teenager that said he wanted to quote unquote slime me. Um, he's like, uh, this is my latest guild member to Laughing Coffin. He's like, oh, you're in Laughing Coffin? Oh, sorry. You want to be friends? As soon as they seen, I don't know who this guild leader is, but he is. It's like almost he's fucking the Black Swordsman Kirito, and people fucking fear this guy for some reason. I have no idea why. But sorry, go
Hmm.
ahead.
No, I mean it just seems like you probably had a very good experience whenever it comes to people
Bless
actually
you.
having like I guess morals when it comes to the PvP aspect of like an online game, because I've been there whenever there is no rules of engagement, no morals, and it's unplayable. That's why New World did it once and
Yep.
they never did it again because they
Yep.
figured out everybody sucks. Then they made they removed that from the main part of their game, and then after they removed that from the main part of their game, everybody cried that they want. Uh, this group of people cried that they wanted it, so they made a PvP server for their new season. Dropped the PvP server. Everybody's like, okay, yeah, let's go try that, and then everybody ditched it because it was just annoying. It it just stuff like that, and but I'd be more interested and apt to give it a shot again with this.
The one interesting thing I'll mention before we pass it over to Q is that since it's being that this world takes place in VR chat, you can pretty much it's whatever avatar you can find for VR chat. If you're gonna have this is my biggest complaint, more so than the couple bugged monsters, the PvP. If you're gonna have Project Aincrad, you're gonna have Sword Art Online experience. You have VR chat. You have the ability to create avatars. I know there is creative people out there. We need more Sword Art Online avatars if this is going to, like, obviously you can create, customize your avatar however you want. But being the fact that I searched for about 3 hours. There's no Agiel avatar. There's no Klein avatar. There is any of the main characters outside Kirito, Asuna, Sinu. They have a laughing coffin. We'll call it generic laughing coughing member 1. They have a laughing coughing member outfit, but they don't have the big black guy blacksmith. They don't have the big cool Klein samurai looking dude. They don't have even some of the cool female characters. They don't have avatars for. That's not necessarily a Project Aincrad. That's a VR chat situation. But creative people out there, I know the people I played with will be watching this podcast because I'll be sharing it in their Discord. Get your asses in gear. Make some more fucking Sword Art characters. Because my original avatar was Kirito. But I have recently switched to the Laughing Coffin avatar as I feel it's better suited for me. So,
Yeah.
but overall,
What-
Q, you heard what I had to say. You're just like me and Skags. You're an anime guy. What do you think about this Project Aincrad and the whole project?
I think it's pretty cool. Excuse me. I know that we've talked about it a lot. That VR's right in this middle point where, for me, it's not. I don't want to say it's not good enough because VR's really come very far, but it's not to the scale that I would want it to be to like get locked in. Like
The technology is not there for the full experience.
I would want it to
think
be closer to like Ready Player One, or all the way up to Sword Art. That for me to truthfully enjoy it, because at a certain point you just have a helmet on and some controllers in your hands, you know. So it's not my cup of tea, but if it keeps going the way that it's going, I think it'll be really cool one day. I think we will be in giant sky rises made of trailers stacked up on top of each other, and everybody just plays games online all day for their actual job because that's all that there is to do.
I will say quickly that the last update, for at least for my MetaQuest 3, I don't know if it's the same situation for like PSVR, Steam VR. I've not tried in like actual games, but I know on like just like the base VR screen, like where you boot up, you have all your apps, your friends, whatever the case may be. Things there, you can just do everything with your hands. You don't have to have the controllers. Like I said, I don't know if there is some settings for some games to do that, but I know just on the home screen specifically, everything can be done by hands.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, when it gets to the point to where like you're actually able to like fully fight with your hands and everything, I think that's going to be I get
Yeah.
fully invested. Like I love watching those games those simulators that are built for that. And I every time I watch them, I see one of those. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go get like a VR headset or whatever. But I never end up. I need to go get a VR headset so I can play some of those games. Because
If I had
There
a
is-
console, I would go get VR, but
Yeah. There was some funny stuff like there's a guy that VR chat. His avatar was I can't remember his name, but it's from the Seven Deadly Sins. It's the Fairy King. But
Bond or not Bond.
King.
Yeah, King is his nickname.
oh yeah,
Harlequin is his real name.
Yeah.
he walked out. Staff, little looking dude, walked out. and was playing music, and there was one person that's allied with the Laughing Coffin Guild, and he's just like the most murderous person I've ever spoken to in any game. He's just like, yeah, as soon as he walks across this bridge, yeah, watch this. And like that Fairy King dude walked across the bridge and he just slaughtered the guy, and you just hear all this cursing. I'm not going to say on the podcast, but you just hear all this, just Call of Duty lobby cursing. And then you just hear, the last thing you hear is him in the middle of saying, and then halfway through saying fuck, his character has been killed. And he resets it down to beginning. And then he's like, I'm going to try to convince this guy that he can get his weapons back and come back across this bridge. And he almost had the same guy, which his second character was Lisbeth. I think that's her character's name, the female from Seven Deadly Sins. Almost had him convinced to walk across the bridge again so he could kill this person. And the kid ended up overhearing a conversation with somebody else. And like, this guy is so murderous. It is absolutely hilarious. I heard someone profess their love for somebody in this game. So there's some very humorous moments.
See that murder shit, that is like, to me in PvP games, that is the norm. Like all the people who are down with PvP just want to do that. Like
he
the
was
PvP,
very brave. I talked about how everybody's like afraid of, or I guess respects and afraid of like the guild leader of Laughing Coffin. He had enough balls to go duel him, and like there is a honor system enough, even with this murderous guy that I just talked about, to where once you get to red health, like whoever gets to red health first loses, and then they stop fighting so they don't die. But like there's healing crystals and all that stuff.
like I'm down with the PvP whenever you come across somebody randomly. That PvP is real fun to me, but setting up camp with like 10 dudes at every exit to the starting towns is a bit like, come on, dude. This is not even PvP. That's PvE pretty much.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I didn't mention this in my article, but you can buy houses and stuff in the game too, just like they did in the anime. I couldn't figure out how to do it, but like if you walk up to like a building or whatever, like they'll tell you like high price, medium price, like they'll tell you like the prices of stuff too, which was cool. So I'm sure I'll write about it again and we'll talk about it in the future, but you can also buy houses.
That's cool.
Something we always talk about on the podcast is Pokemon. This is almost like this is a Pokemon podcast. Something I'm super excited for, Skags and Quentin less excited for, is Pokemon Champions. And I've been following Centro Leaks on Twitter because a lot of content creators have played Pokemon Champions. I forget how many people they invited to a specific place, but like you would think, obviously, people like Wolfie and his buddies all got to play Pokemon Champions. So I recommend if you want to see some minor gameplay or whatever the case may be, it's mostly B-roll. It's provided for Wolfie or whatever, but you can go on YouTube and check out Pokemon Champion stuff. But if you're into the leaks, which we're going to talk about right now, because people that have access to the game have started data mining it. But before we get into that, I told Q about this. I found this. I want to mention Pokemon Wind and Waves, which is going to be the game that Q really likes. Something popped up from Central Leaks as I was getting all the champion stuff together. If you catch a Pokemon in a different language, for example, Brazilian Portuguese, you cannot transfer any Pokemon to a previous game that did not have the language. So if you catch a Pokemon in Brazilian Portuguese, you cannot back transfer to another game that did not have Brazilian Portuguese. Just something very minor I thought that I should probably mention. But Pokemon Champions, we have a current list, I'm going to run through the names real quick of the Pokemon that will be available day one that we know of. So here we go. We have Abomasnow, Absol, Aegislash, Aerodactyl, Aggron, Alakazam, Alcremie, Altaria, Ampharos, uh, Araquanid. I'm sure I said that wrong.
Araquanid?
Yeah, Araquanid.
Yes, my homie.
Arcanine, Archuludon, Amarouge, Audino, Auroros, Zoomeril, Basculegion, Beedrill, Ceruledge, Charizard, Chestnut, Clawitzer, Clefable, Conkeldurr, Corviknight, Crabominal, Decidueye, Delphox, Diggersby. Shout out to the everything Pokemon, Ditto, Dondozo, Dragapult, Dragonite, Drampa, Emboar, Emolga, Empoleon, Espeon, Excadrill, Farigiraf, Feraligatr, Flareon, Frostlass, Furfro, Garbodor, Garchomp, Gardevoir. I'm not going to say this right, but Garganachi, Gengar, Glaceon, Glamora, Gliscor, Golurk, Gourgeist, Greninja, Gyarados, Hatterini, Hawlucha, Heracross, Hippowdon, Hydrapple, Hydreigon, I think it's Hydreigon,
Hydreigon, yeah.
Incineroar, Kangaskhan, King Gambit, Cleavor, Klefki, Tomo-O, Crocodile, Leafeon, Lopunny, Lucario, Lycanroc, Mousehold, Meganium, Meowscarada, Meowstick, Metagross, Milotic, Mimikyu, Morpeko, Mr. Rhyme. Shout out to all the Mr. Rhyme fans out there.
Fuck Mr.
Mudsdale.
Rhyme.
I know, that's why I said it. Mudsdale, Ninetales, Noivern, Oranguru, Orthworm, Palafine, Palmot, Pelipper, Pikachu, Pinsir, Politoed, Raichu, Rhyperior, Rotom, Runerigus, I think, Sableye,
Runerigus, yep.
Samurott, Sandaconda, Caesar, Scovillion, Superior, Sinistcha, Skarmory, Slowbro, Slowking, Sneasler, Snorlax, Spiritomb, Starmie, Steelix. Shout out to one day getting a Mega Steelix, sorry. My favorite Mega. Sylveon, Talonflame, Tatsuguri. Shout out to Tatsuguri and Dondozo. Tinkaton, Torkoal, Torterra, Buchanan, Toxapex, Tasserina, Typhlosion, Tyranitar, Tyrantium, Umbreon, Ursaluna, Vanellux, Venusaur, Victory Bell, Vivillon, Volcarona, Weavile, Whimsicott, and Zoroark. And that is all those. I can share that link in case you guys want to look over it.
Yes, please.
Then we have, after the announcement of leak of all those Pokemon from the starting situation, obviously I'm sure more will be added over time. Pokemon Champions and the starter pack prices finally confirmed. Obviously Pokemon Champions free, but the starter pack is not. $6.99 in the U.S. Mexico is $144. That is their conversion rate. That's not 144 American dollars. I think Brazil is $38.90, whatever their price is. The pack includes storage space for 50 additional Pokemon, 30 teammate tickets, and 50 training tickets, and the battle exclamation mark, which is the trainer battle song from LGPE. and that's a one-time purchase. And as we talk about this, I'm going to look for the actual Battle Pass price because I've not found that yet. Also, a few days ago, this list was shared on a Chinese forums and correctly got some new abilities correct that were data mined yesterday. So, validating that at least some of this list is real. So, supposedly, leaked abilities that we're getting is Mega Raichu X is going to be Electric Surge. Mega Clefable will be Magic Bounce. Mega Staraptor, which I don't even think I said Staraptor on that Pokemon list, did I?
I don't know.
It's in alphabetical order, I think. If I did not say Staraptor, apparently this list is saying Mega Staraptor, so apparently it's in the game. The ability is going to be contrary. Mega Lucario Z will have Prankster, supposedly. Mega Darkrai will have Enhanced Bad Dreams, causes sleeping Pokemon to lose 1/4 of their maximum HP instead of 1/8, supposedly. Mega Electros, which I don't think I said that either. Dark Current, which has an unknown effect. Mega Pyroar has Thermal Boost, which powers up Fire-type moves by 1.5 times. Mega Crabominal will have Contrary. Mega Drampa will have Drizzle. Mega Golosopod, which I don't think I said Golosopod, so this is, if these are all correct, that's adding more Pokemon to that list. That list came out before this did, so Mega Golosopod will have Tough Claws. Mega Magerna
Magerna.
will have Soul Heart. Mega Zorora will have Speed Boost, supposedly. Mega Gamora will have Levitate. Mega Tatsuguri has an unknown existing ability. And Mega Baxcalibur, which I know for sure I did not say, is going to have Thermal Exchange. I do know there were 4 other Pokemon abilities mentioned that I could not find yet either. Oh, here we go. I found it. Piercing Drill will be a new ability. When the Pokemon uses contact moves, it can even hit targets that are protecting themselves, dealing 1/4 the damage that the move would deal otherwise. Everything aside from target's protective effects is still triggered. Dragonize, the Pokemon's normal type moves become dragon type moves and their power is boosted by 20%. Mega Soul, which I think is Mega Meganium's ability. Even when the sunlight has not turned harsh, the Pokemon can use its move as though the weather was harsh sunlight. And then Spicy Spray, which I don't know which Pokemon got this one. When the Pokemon takes damage from a move, it burns the attacker. And they also announced 4 other Megas from ZA have new abilities, but we won't know what those are because they're not compatible with champions yet. So as I look, I'm trying to find the Battle Pass price. But as I look for that, what do you guys think about this? Is this the future of Pokemon? Is it just as official as Pokemon Showdown? Do you have pay to win concerns? Is it the best competitive system ever? Will the casual players even care? Over time, we've talked about the ability to, you'll have rental Pokemon, which you could rent with victory points for a temporary time. You could rent them for good until you want to return them with victory points. I can't remember. We talked about this last episode, I think, how you get victory points from different battles. There are going to be some quests. I don't believe there's a big story element, obviously, but there are quests that you can complete, which will earn you points. There's training tickets and all that other stuff. So, overall, what do you guys think about as I try to find the Battle Pass price?
One thing that you mentioned, casual fans. No, I don't think casual fans will really care about this at all. But I think for the people who aren't casual fans, it's shaping up to be pretty decent. Nothing too crazy. I mean, it'd be absolutely stellar if we didn't have to if they had every single Pokemon in it, but it doesn't sound like they're going to.
Yeah. I hope that they eventually rotate it to where I think that they're just trying to get it out. Is my thought. They've got a lot of it done, but it's not totally done, so they're going to get it out. They maximize the probably the most popular mons that people use in battles. They got some of the new guys in there, and they're going to get it out and get people playing and keep the hype going for a slow trickle of the entirety of the decks in there.
Yeah. Probably so.
So real quick, sorry to interrupt. Real quick, apparently, the battle pass is priced at $6.99 per season. That's in American dollars. Like I mentioned, the starter pack price already. The annual membership is going to be $50, $49.99, and battle pass. We've talked about this before. Some of the rewards is like the mega stones are easily attainable. You get cool rewards. You can get mega stones. You can get some victory points, different tickets, and stuff like that. Also, you get season points based on wins and losses, depending upon how the match went. Those reset every season, which also are used to claim your battle pass rewards. So go ahead.
Oh, I pretty much said my piece. Is it? I think it's just gonna be okay. I don't think it's gonna be the best. I don't think the casual fans will really care, but I think for the people who do actually want to play competitively, it's probably gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, I think that it was a really smart move on the Pokemon Company's part, consolidating battling to one place where they can easily. I mean, this they said once this comes out, it's literally taking over all of the championships and everything that they do. You will battle through this through Pokemon Champions. So it's very, very smart for them to do that. That's going to require them to get all of the Pokemon in there, at least in my opinion, I feel like. So once all of that gets rolling and everything gets going, makes a lot of sense. It removes some of that. I think they want to go. I know I've said this about a million times every time we talk about Pokemon, but I feel like they want to go more story based, less battling based with Pokemon and the mainstay games. Even though battling is a big part of Pokemon, it's now really become. I mean, gotta catch them all has been the thing forever. So it's been about collecting the Pokemon. It's been about completing the decks. It's been about shiny hunting. And yes, there's battling going on. People still love to battle. I like to do battles every once in a while. But I feel like there's a vast majority of people who are also in my boat of let's just go catch everything, get through the story, see what cool new Pokemon there are in the games, and roll on.
I know we've talked about some of the previous story games. I know how much Q talked about. You talked about how cool the story was with the three monkey forms. Like post game, you talked about how cool that story was. And I remember like when I booted up Pokemon Ruby for the first time. I think we talked about this. We were talking about Wolfie's top 100 list of Pokemon or whatever. We talked about just you boot up Ruby or Sapphire, you hear about like Groudon causing drought in the world, or the Kyogre situation, floods, and then Rayquaza, telling them like, "Shut up, bitches," calm down, and like some of the stuff from the old games, just the minor, even like the minor stories, like for example, you have in second generation, you have the Burn Tower, you have the story with Entei, Raikou, Suicune. Um, we even talked about the fact that in the anime, Ash, after the big situation with the Spearow attack and the lightning storm with Pikachu, And the end of like that first episode, you see Ho-Oh fly over, which foreshadowed like Ho-Oh's not even in the first game. That's the legendary for gold. And having a story is always going to be, I think, quite important for Pokemon. And while they're going to make a lot more money from the competitive situation, from the fact of the Wolfies, the Aaron trailers, all these other people. Even you got people like Fusely, which is a big popular streamer going to these events. So they're going to make a lot of money from some advertising is free, some is not, obviously, but like the free advertisement from these popular people going to these events, talking about Pokemon in general. in general, but they want to have both aspects. They don't want to kind of dull away from one for the other. So
Yeah.
I think separate games, but still have, the battle. You got to have the battling in the story because a lot of those big story things involves around the battle.
Oh
like
yeah.
Ash's whole point was to be Pokemon champion, be the greatest Pokemon trainer of all time. So my biggest thing, which I agree with Q for the most part, is obviously you're not going to put all 1,100 of whatever the amount of Pokemon are in champions, but I think there should be an undeniable almost all Pokemon that exist should be in Pokemon champions, and like maybe not like there's not really a reason for like there's some Pokemon that don't really need to be played. Like you obviously know what the least popular Pokemon are, the ones that people aren't going to play or use. They have data that exists every time someone catches a Pokemon, like developers and people have those stats. So I think if you put at least 90% of the Pokemon that exist, of the popular ones, the ones people use for battle, the ones people want to catch, the ones people talk about, I think champions could be good. Obviously, there's a lot of things people talking about how they no longer have the IVs and the EVs or whatever. I know Wolfie in his video talked about there were some situations where those would be useful and certain trick room strategies for different situations. Wolfie's a lot smarter than I am when it comes to competitive battling, so it made sense to me what he was explaining because all the stats are like you can just adjust stats and it just costs you victory points or whatever VP. I'm pretty sure it's called victory points. And like you could just go through, edit a whole Pokemon abilities, moves, stats, and just one big cost of victory points. So they've made it easier for people to get into competitive battling. We'll just have to see how it actually goes. Currently in the last season with Regulation I with Scarlet and Violet, and once Champions comes out this month, not long from now, off the top of my head, I can't remember the exact date, but it'll probably be live around the time this podcast goes live or not long after this podcast goes live. So I want to see them succeed. We never want to see a video game fail. I don't think Champions will fail. I think there's a lot of people iffy about the Battle Pass situation if they can't acquire certain Mega Stones easily, or if there's going to be, for example, maybe a Pokemon is locked behind the Battle Pass. I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying it's a possibility. As long as that's not the case, I think it'll be fine. I do know that when you go to like the Pokemon Ranch or whatever, you go there to find whatever Pokemon. It gives you like a randomized like 8 Pokemon or something like that. So you might have to go back and keep visiting over and over and over. And once you edit a Pokemon with champions and send it back to home, it can't go back to any other games. It will have to sit in home. So we'll see what happens. I like story, but also I'm big into Pokemon battling. Obviously, our second challenge is a Pokemon battle. So whenever that happens, it'll be a lot of fun for you guys to see. But that is my thoughts. As we close out the podcast, we have Q's comparison. Do you remember what it was?
I don't.
It is Q wanted us to pick 2 famous Jedi that we could compare each other to and 1 Sith.
And
I
Chris
have
got to learn a lot about Star Wars.
I got to learn some. So for myself, I'm going to go with Mace Windu because I got to have the purple saber. Samuel L. Jackson, man. I got to have the purple saber. Samuel L. Jackson, his character, Mace Windu, at least in the movies, seems kind of stubborn sometimes. I can be in certain aspects. And just, I like to be unique. Even when it comes to magic, I'm playing off-meta decks, looking for the cutest hot flex slot card I can find, stuff like that. And he's the only one that has a purple saber, so it makes sense to me. The other one, I was torn between Yoda, but I don't think I'm wise enough to be Yoda. So I went with Qui-Gon Jinn. I feel he teaches, already drawing a blank. Not only he provides some guidance to early on kid Anakin, Obi-Wan. There we go. Obviously, he's Obi-Wan's master, and he provides some insight and stuff to Obi-Wan. He operates on a different front than most Jedi do, which I really liked for his character. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a Jedi, listens to the Council. However, he has his own train of thought. Like, the Council didn't want Anakin because of his age. He's already developed love for his mother, all that stuff, whatever the case was. But I went with Qui-Gon Jinn and Mace Windu, and it was 1 Sith. I went with I was torn between General Grievous, and Darth Maul, because there's so many Jedi and there's so many Sith, so it's hard to pick. And I decided to go with Darth Maul.
Good, because Grievous isn't a Sith.
Oh, he's not a Sith? Okay.
No.
Well, good thing I didn't pick Grievous. I went with Darth Maul just because he's that dude. And sometimes I just feel like if I'm running hot in Magic, like 2 weeks ago, the podcast, that whole F&M, I just felt like I was that guy. Like everything just ran smoothly. No, obviously, Darth Maul loses at some point, but I just felt like I was that guy. As for Q, I went with Skywalker, Luke Skywalker. I just feel he ends up becoming one of the most humblest besides Yoda as a Jedi. Like I said, I struggled a lot with this one. I did not pick a second Jedi, but if I had to, off the top of my head, just right now, probably Obi-Wan, because I feel he's an underrated Jedi. He provides quite a bit of knowledge to Anakin. I feel he was close to being able to pull Anakin back to the light. However, obviously he fucking failed. But I feel he was on the verge. If Qui-Gon, I wrote an article about this a long time ago. I don't know if you guys knew this, but the article was, if Qui-Gon Jinn survived, could Anakin be prevented from going to the dark side? I feel if Obi-Wan,
100%.
I feel if Obi-Wan also had Qui-Gon still alive, I figured they would have saved Anakin. The Sith for Q. There's a theory that this character is a Sith. So call me cheating, but
don't do that shit to me.
Jar Jar Binks.
You motherfucker.
Jar Jar Binks.
He is just one of my most enjoyable Star Wars characters. He's so funny and hilarious to me. Whether he's a Sith or not, maybe I'll explore that eventually. I just feel like the humor that comes from his character kind of resonates with Q. Q's funny. Uh, I've said this multiple times when I'm around Q. I'm just always laughing, always in a good mood. So sorry, Q. But Jar Jar Binks. Skaggs is also a difficult one. I feel you often teeter between the light and the dark. So when it
Well,
comes
you've given
to
the two that do that the best for Jedi.
Jedi, I'm giving you, what is her fucking name? I think her name is Rey, the chick from the third prequel, the third trilogy of Star Wars movies. I think her name is Rey. She's a Jedi, but I feel, and from what I hear, she often teeters between the light and the dark.
Not really, but
Well, you're still
Who,
her
Ray?
regardless.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes! Skaggs is Ray?
Yes.
I fucking
That's
hate. I fucking hate you.
awesome.
I felt she had kind of an attitude sometimes. Like, I've not fully watched the movies, but that's what I see from people and
Dude, at
Star
least
Wars.
you're related to Palpatine. You got
Yeah,
that
I'm
going
not a
for you.
Skywalker.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she was a Skywalker, so I'm even more
No,
wrong than I thought.
she's not a fucking Skywalker.
She
You're-
claims the name of Skywalker after finding out that she is General Palpatine's like granddaughter.
Okay, well, you're still Rey. So, anyways, as for the second Jedi, you're more so this one. And it's specifically this time frame. It's not before, afterwards, he's a Sith. You're specifically Anakin from the time that does not he's not allowed to become a full-fledged member of he's not allowed to sit on the Jedi Council from that time frame to the point to where he murders the people that killed his mother. That specific time frame of Anakin, I feel, suits you most of all.
Anakin in
He's
Descent.
Yeah, he's not quite there, but Skaggs' madness going from uh five color Niv Mizzet to surgical extractions over and over to the meta boogeyman of Rakdos Scam is just Anakin's downward spiral. And then Skaggs, I got to go with, I was going to say Palpatine at first, but you're not one for political affairs like Palpatine. So I'm going to give you the old school. I'm going to give you the bad boy. I'm going to give you Count Dooku. I was going to give you Darth Vader, but I figure Dooku is, to me, I think he's better. I think he's cooler than Darth Vader. And I don't think once Skaggs turns Sith, if Skaggs ever turned fully Sith, I don't think there's a redemption arc for Skaggs. Vader gets a redemption arc kind of after he gets killed, when takes off the mask, all that situation. Skaggs, Count Dooku. Count Dooku was a good leader. He massive skill set. So I got to go with Dooku. But
pretty good.
Anakin's the most important part. I feel Anakin, specifically that time frame, fits Skaggs most of all. And, there's a pair. I always try to find a pair. Since I gave Skaggs Rey, I'm not going to go with my original thing, which was Luke and Leia for you guys. Skaggs is going to be Leia. So I'm going to go with...
Why am I getting disrespected consistently in the fucking fridge?
You're not.
You are. You're
Leia,
disrespecting the shit out of
Leia's
me.
a good leader of the Resistance, man.
Man,
Leia's
shut the
very
fuck up. No,
important.
she's not.
Leia's very important, and she has kind of an attitude. And I feel like you would lean more towards that way than Q and QB Scott. But I didn't go that. I'm going to give you guys Solo and Han Solo and Chewbacca. So take that as you will and claim who you want. But both characters fit you both, so those are my comparisons. I feel you both could be Chewbacca and you can both be Han, so.
I feel like we could slip in and out between those two, back and forth.
You know what? For one simple thing thing
Since
that'll
Skag
always
said, since
stick
Skag
in
said
my
Grievous
head.
wasn't a Sith, I couldn't give Skaggs Grievous, so you kind of did that to yourself.
I mean, it is what it is. He's not. There's
Jar
other
Jar
things
Binks
I could
is.
say.
I got you, Q.
Yeah.
But I give Q Chewy for one simple thing that gets said in the show and something that he's done is Chewbacca got so mad at one of their games of chess that he ripped off the arms of another man, and hearing Quentin get mad at his ADC in League and scream and fucking smack his desk, get mad because he knocked something over, and just keep yelling and screaming. I feel like you could have
Okay.
you could have
take
taken somebody's arms off at that point,
I'll
especially
take
that ADC's.
I
I'll take
struggled
it.
quite a bit with this one. It's probably the most difficult one for me. So
Star Wars is crazy big. That's why
You want to know what's funny
I thought it'd be fun.
about the Count Dooku pick?
what's that?
You said you didn't pick Palpatine because he didn't do. I wouldn't do
I said
politics.
I said you don't seem like you would be the type of person that would be super involved in political affairs, and obviously Palpatine had like this long-term plan, infiltrate.
Dooku's the one that that gave him the foothold in the politics world.
Yeah, but Dooku, he didn't do the politics himself.
He did
He got Palpatine the foothold, and Palpatine went from there.
because
essentially.
he was a politic. Either way, it's fun. I'd like Dooku. Dooku's fucking awesome.
Darth Tyrannus is.
I think
Shmoney.
they did him super dirty and not fleshing him out more in the giving him more in the movies before Anakin killed him. But I understand why he did have to die. But
You're up next, Skaggs.
all right. For Chris, the first one is just because you are you're decently level-headed almost all very consistently. I would give you Qui-Gon for that one. And then I'm giving you one of my favorites for your second Jedi. And it's going to be the boy, Kit Fisto. Because he's
Okay.
He's
Mine and
always
Skaggs are exactly the same for you, Chris. So I'm just throwing that out there now.
I think that's the first. I think that's like the second time I got one of us has
Yeah.
got the same from all three of us. Quay Fisto, is that what you said? Or
Kit Fisto.
Kit Fisto.
Yeah, Fisto.
So it's not seen super consistently, but he's supposed to like always be a chipper fella and always have a smile on his face. And he just an all around good fella. Sith wise, man, Sith wise is interesting. I think Revan might fit you, but no, actually Bane would be who I would give you. Darth Bane. He's the one that came up with the rule of two and had to sit down and figure out why the Sith weren't winning the battle against the Jedi.
I can take that.
For Q, your Jedis. This one's a little bit of a meme, but because you always make funny characters and shit in games, I'm giving you Oppo Rancis.
Is he the guy with the long ass neck?
Nope. OPPORANCISIS.
I don't even
God.
remember that guy.
Yeah, he's all curled up on the chair at the Jedi Council.
He's a goofy fella. He doesn't have any parts on anything. It was either going to be that or it's going to be Pablo Jill. He's also a goofy looking fella. But he does have more action scenes. But I think we get to see him
Oh,
die.
I would like that guy way better.
The reason why I gave you that one is because in like New World and like a couple other games, like you made your whole shtick like being a friar, so it was about the hair.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of hair on that one.
Yeah.
The more regular one is I would give you Obi-Wan.
Okay.
I would give you that Obi-Wan kind of in that early episode 3.
I also wanted to give Q Obi-Wan, but I didn't feel I was knowledgeable enough to be Yoda. And since I gave myself Obi-Wan, I didn't want to give Q the same one.
That's fair. I think it's hard pressed to find somebody who's like up to the scale of being Yoda.
Yeah, because you gotta like be fucking omniscient in order to do that. It'd be like that. And yeah, that nobody's like that.
All right. Oh, I forgot. You still have more.
Yeah, I have your Sith.
Come on with it. Jar Jar Binks.
Please, no.
I am gonna give you. I'm gonna give you Malik, Darth Malik,
Very nice.
because a lot of the reason why I give you Malik is because Malik and Revan are the best Sith duo. One of the best Sith duos, and I'd give myself Revan off that. And then Annie, early episode 3, because the whole interactions between those two on the beginning battle all the way to like when they crash is like,
Yeah.
they're not master and Padawan, they're best buds, which is one of the falling points to why Anakin falls, but like that's the whole interactions of everything is they're just being best best friends. And to go with the old Kit Fisto as well, put out Plo Koon. Plo Koon and Kit Fisto are seen quite a bit with each other doing shenanigans. Plus
That's funny.
Plo Koon is the one of, if not the only one that uses uses force lightning, but on the good side without it being Sith lightning. So go ahead.
That is who I gave you for one of your Jedi skags, is Plo Koon. The other Jedi, it was hard. If okay, this is this is kind of silly because if we're gonna count Anakin as a Jedi, he's is he technically a Padawan since he's not on the council, or is he still a Jedi?
Depends on which spot, because he actually does make it to being on the council. They just don't give him the rank of master.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Because I was gonna give you Ventress, but she is on the dark side and never
So
officially really a Sith.
if you also want to think about it as well, Revan and Malik also start off as Jedi. Both of them do.
Yeah.
They
I guess
also
Ventress does too, doesn't she?
no. Ventress is an assassin from the Rip.
Is she?
Yeah,
I thought
because
that Tyrannus found her and converted her because she kind of turns good in the Clone Wars for a minute, right?
She does, but that's to get with Quinlan Voss, because she falls in love with Quinlan Voss.
Okay. Hard time figuring out, thinking of a second Jedi for you. I wanted some. I'm probably gonna go Mace Windu, somebody who also totes the line of the darker side of the Force.
Yeah.
Chris, I gave you Kit Fisto and Qui-Gon. Your Sith. I really, 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 really was trying to figure out what would be a good Sith for you. I went with Darth Plagueis the Wise because one, we don't know a whole lot about him, but I just love the idea of like the guy who taught Palpatine to do all of his bullshittery, even older, even wiser. Skags, I had to go Bane for you.
Okay.
For myself, I'm gonna go. I don't know. I wasn't thinking about it all that much. I'm gonna go the Hutt that ends up becoming a Jedi. I can't remember what his name is. And the Wookiee that ends up being a Jedi.
All right. Well, I got a Sith. Wait, hold up. You got more, don't you?
Nope.
All
I
right.
mean, I have a Sith for myself, but I don't know. I would have went Malik too. I like Darth Malik.
Yeah. All right. I got a Sith trio then, and it fits
Okay.
perfect. I did. I'm the one being extra this time. Chris gets Darth Treya. You get Darth Nihilus. I get Darth Sion. Darth Nihilus. Darth Treya is the master over the both of them. That eventually ends up losing control over either one. Well, over both of them. And Darth Nihilus is the one that sucks all the life out of everything that it's around, and Darth Sion's the one that's so mad he can't die.
Oh yes, he like forces himself to stay.
Yeah, homie is skin is broken and he's just pissed off and he cannot die because he's so mad. And Darth Nihilus can't stop eating everything, and it just gets to the point to where Trey is like, all right, I raised 2 crash outs that I can't handle anymore. I'm out. Like there's no turn like turning and trying to kill Trey. She's just like, this has gone too far. Goodbye. But she does come back to try and stop Nihilus, I think.
All good theories for everybody. And we are back to Skags once again. I believe it is your turn for the next comparison, sir. Because you did Fate last time, I did Dragon Ball original, and Q did this one. So it is your turn, sir.
Okay. We'll just go Just go video game character. 2 for each.
Video game characters.
Mm-hmm. Make it nice and simple for everybody, since the past 2 have been a struggle for at least one person in the trio.
Works for me.
So,
Alrighty. That is going to be all for episode 26 of the Thicc Boi Hours podcast. You have Q, aka Short Round. You won't find him anywhere except out, making people's lives better each and every day, making sure you got water, all that jazz. And you have Dodgy Yeti. You can find him on Twitter or X, vintage_ISO. You can find him on Facebook, and you can find him on Twitch at Dodgy Yeti. He did put up a recent Monster Hunter video, I think is what it was. And Q and Skags will both be doing their punishment soon. So
Yep.
stay tuned for that. As for myself, you can find me on Twitter, CUnit123123. Same with Threads, LinkedIn, Blue Sky. It's all CUnit123123 or CUnit Chris Jones. Chris Jones on LinkedIn, Facebook, on Fuse and Mastodon. You could probably find me there as well. Haven't done much streaming lately. We need to get back into speed running. Still making YouTube videos, Chris Jones Gaming Network. And you can find all my articles, Chris Jones, lordsofgaming.net. And that's all for episode 26. We'll see you next time.
see you.